the Kraken.
Yes. This is the Dallas Stars pregame show. We are going to talk about the Stars, the Kraken, and their pending clash. Sam is at the AAC. Lutz and I are here. What else do you need to know? Let's go. Go. Come on. Start. This is the DLLS Stars pregame show on Sunday as the Stars get ready for big showdown with Mason Marchment and the Seattle Kraken. We'll talk about all that and much more. Craig Ludwig is right here. I'm Owen Newkirk. Ryan Vodders is our producer. Sam Nestler is at the AAC as we will talk to him in just moments. But first, let's talk about those shirts. The Face-Off collection continues to sell very well. Very good-looking new hockey-themed DLLS shirts. You can get those at alldlls.com. If you're a diehard, if you have been a diehard for a while, of course, you always get 20% off all merchandise at DLLS. And if you're not and you sign up to be a diehard, you can get one of those as your free shirt for your first year of your annual subscription. All right, let's bring Sam on because the Stars played yesterday afternoon in Nashville. They won that game. The Seattle Kraken won in very dramatic fashion. Lutz and I are going to talk about that in a little while as they beat St. Louis last night. So both teams flying to Dallas. Sam, you just got done about 30 minutes ago talking with Glenn Gulletson, and it sounds like the lineup is not going to be very much different from yesterday's Nashville game.
Yep, it'll be the same lineup with Nate Bastian and Cavabianco as the scratches, and the only difference, obviously, Casey DeSmith will start tonight. Glenn Gulletson didn't give that away right away, and he almost seemed like he was going to say Jake's going back-to-back here, but it will be Casey DeSmith, and I think it'll be Casey against his old buddy Matt Murray on the other side. So a fun matchup with some friends, and not the only one on the ice tonight.
Now, the big one, of course, is Marchment, right? Mason Marchment coming back to Dallas, and we have a fun little photo, if you'd like to look at it. And this is Marchment from the Seattle Kraken coming into the arena tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Very much looking like he's living in Seattle. Coffee in hand, the little beanie, or as they call it in Canada, the toque. They call it a toque in Wisconsin?
No.
Yeah, same. In Maine, it was not a toque. That's definitely a Canadian thing, but I've heard that for a long, long time. So, what's the vibe? Glenn Gulletson didn't coach Mason Marchment. If this was Pete DeBoer, he would have had a very different. I listened to Gully's talking to you guys. He might have talked a little bit more personably about him just because, Gully said he's heard good things, but he's never coached him. He has coached against him, however, and so he knows what to expect from the player in that regard.
Yeah, I was hoping to get maybe a little something more out of his side of it with the Oilers, because he might actually have a better insight on playing against Mason than you do when you play with him, because he's a little more annoying when you're playing against him. But he just said the only thing Gulletson pointed out was that he's one of those guys you just have to respect, right? We all know about his story. He didn't start playing hockey till way late in his life. He earned his roles. He had this amazing year in Florida before coming to Dallas, had a big role as an offensive player that a lot of people didn't think he had when he was a fourth liner over in Florida. So he just had a tremendous amount of respect, talked about how he's just one of those big bodies, hard to move, good hands in tight. But Lane Lambert of the Seattle Kraken spoke earlier just before Gulletson, and he talked about how, Mason's fit in, but they haven't quite found the fit for him yet, if that makes sense. They're still looking where he's going to be. I think he's slotted in the left wing of the third line right now. They're kind of trying to figure out where he fits best, but he's the great teammate, all the things that we know. And if you forgot any about that, just go ahead and look at Twitter right now. The amount of mentions I have from fans that are just excited to see Mason back. They're going to cry when he comes on the ice, all these things, and especially our diehards. I'm looking behind me here to my right. I tried to zoom in. I don't think you can see it, but down here in the Seattle side of the warm-up arena, which usually is going to be the other teams, you see the red when Detroit's here. A lot of green down there and a lot of signs. And those are all from Mason Marchment. I know that a lot of our diehards met up today before this game and are down there ready to welcome Mason Marchment back because he was a fan favorite. The thing I'm most interested to watch is the conversations before, right? Because this is even more so than maybe a Logan Stankoven, because Mason was not only around for a few years, he was a huge part of the team. He was best buddies with Jake, good friends with Sagan and Duchesne on that line. So there's a lot going into this, and I believe he's going to get a video tribute. I assume it's going to be a good one with a standing ovation. I just hope, as I mentioned on the post-game show, that it's a Mason Marchment type of tribute with his penalties and screaming "F you" at the coaches while Pete DeVore is telling everyone to calm down. I posted on our DLS page today, or my page, I can't remember, the favorite moment for Mason Marchment, and I had so many funny responses of things I didn't even remember, of him breaking his stick trying to stand up, sliding into the net, taking the goalie off, his helmet coming off. He was just the most chaotic player and the most fun to watch, even when he was getting some of those frustrating penalties that put him in the box at the wrong time.
Sam, you and I and Luds talked about Maverick Bourque. We talked about his game yesterday, and I know you asked Gully about him this afternoon.
Yeah, I just was curious. We talked about how we believed it was important for Maverick Bourque to, any young player, but Maverick Bourque specifically in this situation, to string together a few games, right? You don't want to just see him have one, maybe two really good nights and then kind of fade away for a few months. And that's whether it's been because of the trust and the scratches, or because of just the way his development has gone. He's had that for most of his early career. And Gulletson said a lot of times young players, they get close to that ceiling. Speaking of close to that ceiling, I look really tall right now with this ceiling behind me here, but I promise you I'm not. But talking about how he gets close to that ceiling and then can maybe fade away for a few games. And it's important for Maverick Bourque right now to have a few, because it's not just a physical thing. This is a mental thing for Maverick Bourque. And we've seen it, when he's feeling good, he's a great player, and he can score goals. He can add to the offense. He can have a few really good games in a row. It's just when that confidence starts to fade and he's trying to play, like he said on our show before the season, trying to play not to make a mistake. And right now, the Stars are hoping that he can inch closer and closer to that other side of his game.
All right, Sam, I know the warm-ups are coming up. We'll be curious to see if they do any line tweaking at all or stay exactly as they are. We'll know very soon, and what the reception will be for Mush in a little bit. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the postgame.
All right, guys, enjoy the game.
There goes Sam Nestler joining us from the AAC. Let's talk about Mason Marchment, because I have the numbers in front of me. 211 regular season games with the Dallas Stars. Another 49 in the playoffs. In the regular season, had 131 points, 56 goals. That's a goal every 4 games, roughly. And 75 assists with 187 penalty minutes. And, of course, he also had a handful of goals, 8 assists in 49 playoff games. But it was as much the impact that he had within the dressing room, as Razor prefers it, the emotional connection with his teammates, the way he played with his heart on his sleeve on the ice, for better or for worse.
Yeah, and I think also it's hard to not mention, Duchesne and Sagan, and because when those 3 guys were together, for pretty much a whole season, they were Dallas' best line, with all the things considered that the bullets that Dallas has in their gun. They just found some chemistry with him. He's the kind of guy that has to find the line and not cross it. And I think you love the way that he plays when he's effective. It's when he steps over the line. And up until now in Seattle, he's only got 4 penalty minutes. And his shooting percentage is as low as it's been in 5-6 years. So I think he's there. I think him and probably coaching staff are trying to find the right spot for him and to get him to, find a groove with whoever he's playing with. And it takes time to find that kind of chemistry. But when he does walk the line, he's a very effective player. And when he's doing that, and he generally gets underneath the skin of the right players, I think that's what he recognizes, and what he did well. It's not getting under the skin of fourth line guys and guys that play 8 or 9 minutes. It's getting under the skin of top guys and getting them off their game.
Well, Sam alluded to this, but we have it. Here's Kraken new head coach Lane Lambert talking about an hour and a half ago about Mason Marchment's return to Dallas tonight. And we will have that momentarily for you.
You pull up my diagram from last night with Wyatt.
Yeah, no, it's a big night for him. Anytime you come back to a team that has traded you, you always want to make a good impression. I've been in those shoes too, so I'm looking forward to seeing him have a good game here tonight. We need him. Certainly, he's a big player for us. I think that over the course of the first month of the season here, we're trying to fit in exactly where we can and where he's most effective. And I think he's, I think as of right now, I think he's improving every day.
Trying to find a place for him to fit in. And as of now, he's improving every day, which means he hasn't been living up to the billing. Maybe
I don't think Sam said he's fit in okay. I don't think he has.
Well,
and based on that comment from their head coach.
And Lane is a pretty straightforward guy, and it seems to me he's trying not to throw him under the bus.
I think so.
And this may be the perfect kind of. They may have wanted this game against this opponent a month ago, or 10 games ago. So this could be the one. Like if he should happen to get a goal tonight and ends up being a big goal for the team for some reason, that can kind of get a guy out of that only because of where he was and basically saying those guys didn't want me.
Well, you mentioned it, Leds. Only 2 penalties, 4 minutes.
It can either be maybe he's found the line and he's not crossing it, but it doesn't sound like it.
1 goal in 13 games.
Yeah.
That's not what Seattle was hoping to get when they acquired.
Well, and there's something called expected goals, and it's kind of crazy when you kind of go through it, and it's about where you get to, who's in people. There's a lot of things that go into it. Mason's been pretty high in that category. Right now, he's like under 6 expected goals. And, you can compare that to before. He was probably in the 20s and 22, 23, somewhere in that neighborhood. And that just means he was getting to certain areas. People were getting the puck in the right place. Velocity of shot. There's a lot of things that go into it when you look at expected goal. Like, for instance, Robo would probably be in the 30s. You know what I mean? Like in his career, because he's a guy that gets to the spot. He's got a great shot. He's got a great release, all these good things that go on. So I think Marchment has been not a disappointment to them, but I think probably just disappointed in himself that he's not putting up more numbers on the board for him.
Well, we have a super chat, and it has to do with Mason Marchment, so we thought we'd go to it now. Ardell with a Ludwig.
Dumba, maybe.
It's probably not. Says, too liberal with video tributes, ? I think yes. I'm going to disagree, Ardell, because this is not like they're doing a jersey retirement. And I understand that, if a player plays 1 year with a team, but they don't usually do a video. They'll do or maybe they do a quick montage and show them on the bench. Hey, there's Matt Dumba. Thanks for being a Dallas Star. I think it's humanizing for teams to respond and acknowledge former players that played for them when they first return. Now, you don't do it the second or third or whatever like that. You're telling me that Mason Marchment doesn't deserve an acknowledgement that he spent 3 years with the team. They didn't trade Marchment away because they didn't like him. They did it because of salary cap space to fit Mikko Rantanen's contract, along with the increases to Jake Ottinger and Wyatt Johnston. If Rantanen doesn't sign with the Dallas Stars, if he doesn't come at the trade deadline, Marchment's still here, and probably Mikael Granlund's still here. So,
well, they just like those guys a little bit more.
Yeah. But I honestly, I have no problem with it. It happens during a media timeout. It doesn't interrupt the flow of the game.
The whole thing, I think they've kind of gotten out of hand a little bit. I get what you're saying. It's just now everybody seems to get them. I mean, it doesn't matter if you play 10 games or 30 games. But, yeah, I think there's some acknowledge that he played here, let the fans give him an ovation, and then start to boo him right after that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it's supposed to work. But, yeah, it doesn't need to go on for like 5 minutes.
Do you think it would be a better thing to do before the game? Because they always like to do it during like one of the early media timeouts in the first period because the player's out there, right? You can't, basketball, it's like fans could cheer as he comes on the court before the game starts. He's out there and they can hear it. It's hard to do because with hockey, you do a warm-up, you go back in, then you do the anthem, everybody twirls a couple of times, and you go. There's really no extra lead up there. I mean, I suppose they could do that after the anthem before the puck drop, but that seems kind of weird too, doesn't it?
I'd prefer it if you're going to do it. I do it after the player's first shift.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way so that you're not doing it in the middle of the game where, you don't know where the game's at and maybe there's a little momentum twist and, all that kind of other stuff. Just do it. There's plenty of time to recover. If something does happen or he scores a goal right after that, So I mean, if you're going to do it early, get it out of the way, and let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's fine, but I understand if you feel like there's been a lot. But that's also the nature of the NHL now, is that you get a lot of players turning over, right? In free agency, salary cap, it's not like every player is going to be on the roster for a decade or so. Well, we're going to talk lots more about Stars and Kraken in just a moment here on the DLLS Stars Pregame Show, so don't go anywhere.
Speaking of moving on, we are not moving on from promoting these shirts.
Not yet.
We are going to keep going till we hit our number. It's the face-off collection, the green and the black one, as you all know. And Owen has told you they're the greatest shirts on the planet right now. They're the highest selling ones apparently around here. We are trying to get a free one. I doubt that that's going to happen, but I think there was somebody made a mention of something about if Ben, I don't know, probably ought to buy us or give us one instead of us buying them because he didn't promote the thing the right way or something like that. That would happen.
I thought you were trying to change the narrative about who,
I'm trying to change that narrative what you're going to bring up right now.
Beer over at Hooters.
Well, that's still going to happen as long as they're going to wear these shirts. And again, apparently it's switched to anybody that has one of them shirts instead of the people that are just going to our little, what is it called? The takeover on December 7th.
Oh my gosh,
Did I
she's
get
got
that?
it. Yes,
I got it all right
love
today.
It.
All right, because it's coming up. So anyway,
it's like your battery's fully charged.
Let's not talk about vehicles right now. We have an issue with the car. So my battery is not charged.
Poor guy. Yet. All right. Well, Luds, we got you through your minute. So let's talk about PNC Bank because long-term growth takes patience and commitment, something banking and hockey hair have in common. PNC Bank recognizes the value of long-term growth too. It's time to see how long-term growth looks on you. It's one thing to support long-term growth. It's another to go out and celebrate it. And we'd like to thank everybody, all the amazing Dallas Stars fans who embrace long-term growth in all its feathered glory. Our Main Street branch pop-up event was the ultimate celebration of PNC's reliable, responsible approach to long-term financial planning, told through the lens of another amazing long-term investment, Epic Hockey Hair. At the Main Street branch, fans had the chance to pick up their own Dallas Stars hockey hair hat, a limited edition Dallas Stars hat with a Epic Hockey Hair attachment coming out of the back. It was a reminder that the best things, whether it's legendary flow or strong financial planning, come to those who are patient and committed to the long run. That's PNC Bank, an official partner of the Dallas Stars.
Boy, there's that's a word salad there. You got a lot going on.
Speaking of PNC Bank, you want to talk about salad, let's do the PNC Bank mullet report because our pick tonight for our favorite hockey hair goes back to the Craig Ludwig era, or at least part of it, to a legendary NHL defenseman named Al Iafrate.
Big Al. You really need to do it justice. You needed some from the back,
yes,
or from the top. He's got that little soul patch up. I don't know if it's called a soul patch if it's right on top of your head, and then he's got a big divot there in the middle of it. But
definitely a divot there.
Yeah, the man could shoot a puck, though. I can tell you that much. So, man, that's a good look right there.
You
guys needed to search around a little bit.
We got
to find one for tonight. Do we do this again at the post game?
We have the player of the game, but we could probably pull one up.
Can we just kind of get
so.
Maybe if we get a couple different looks.
Did you ever step in front of an Al Iafrate slap shot?
Because I didn't step in front of it. I was in front of it just by stupidity.
When I was growing up and you were playing, when I was in my single digits in the late 80s, I remember there were two guys, and they were both named Al, that had, well, at the time, the hardest
Al McInnes
slap shots. Yeah. It was Al McInnes and Al Iafrate.
Different.
Why?
His shot is heavy. You know how you've heard heavy shot?
Yes.
I can't explain it. It's like a mortar hits you. I've never been hit by a mortar, but it just feels like it's going through you. Al's was heavy too, but I'm talking about Al McInnes.
Yep.
Al McInnes got it off unfortunately more often. I remember Belfour all the time. Face-offs, last couple minutes of a game, Eddie would kind of skate out to me and he goes, "Les, you take the bottom, I'll take the top." And in other words, I got to go down and block it so he couldn't see it.
Go lay down.
That would allow Eddie to. Okay, Ed. But Iafrate's heavy shot. McInnes could hit what he was aiming at, though. Al's was a little more unpredictable.
Well, as we mentioned, PNC, it's great to see all the Stars fans who showed up at PNC's Main Street branch this past week at PNC Plaza. Love seeing all the Dallas Stars fans who are committed to long-term growth in all its luscious hockey hair glory. For those who missed it, our Main Street branch pop-up event was the ultimate celebration of PNC's reliable, responsible approach to long-term financial planning, told through the lens of another amazing long-term investment, Epic Hockey Hair. Because like Al Iafrate, that didn't grow overnight. or didn't grow at all in some patches.
places.
Right? Well, anyway, at the Main Street branch, fans had the chance to pick up their own Dallas Stars hockey hair hat, a limited edition Stars hat with a gorgeous mane of hockey hair coming out the back. It was a reminder that the best things, whether it's legendary flow or a strong financial plan, come to those who are patient and committed to the long run. That is PNC Bank, an official partner of the Dallas Stars. All right, let's talk about another guy who's patient and has commitment for the long term, and that's the guy celebrating his 700th career NHL game tonight. That's right. When he steps on the ice for the first time against the Kraken, Esa Lindell will hit the milestone 700 career regular season NHL games. And Esa made his debut January 19th of 2016 against the Los Angeles Kings. He played 4 games in a row that year and then got sent back to the AHL. Then he became a regular in the lineup starting in 16-17, which was Ken Hitchcock's 1 year coming back to coach the team. This is his 10th full season, Luds, in the NHL. And as you see the numbers, incredible plus minus. He has put up a decent amount of points for a defensive defenseman. The one I really want to highlight, since the start of 16-17, Esa has 2,130 minutes and 27 seconds of shorthanded time on ice. That is 174 minutes more than second place Ivan Provorov in that time frame. He has been an absolute stalwart on the short end. And the other night, yesterday, the other afternoon,
In a 5-minute shift?
he finished the last 5 minutes of the game. Part of it was penalty kill. He never left the ice.
Watch the way he plays. I've said this before about Esa. He has a way of conserving his energy. He doesn't just go rushing all over the ice. Well, he's actually finished. He's not rushing. He's finishing it. But he plays more with his brain than he does anything else. He's got a good stick. He understands when to be in shot lanes. A lot of times you won't even see him block a shot because he knows he wants the goaltender to see the shot. So he just understands the game, but it's the way that he plays his shifts where he conserves his energy. Typically, he's got the puck. He moves it to that guy right there. Very rarely are you going to see him do what Miro does or Harley does or Nils, guys like that. He's not going to skate the puck from here to the center line. He's going to move it. He advances it. Now it's nice to see now he's getting some power play time, generally in front of the net, which he's not afraid to stand in front of the net. So it's a great accomplishment. And let me tell you, the plus 143, for me, the minutes and all that other stuff is one thing. And I know the era's changed a lot, and he's been on some teams that score some big goals, but he plays against top players. He's out there against other teams' best players, and a plus minus like that is pretty impressive.
Take a look at the Stars lineup tonight. Ryan, if we could start with the defense first, we'll show where Esa is playing, and this has been very much a staple this year. We haven't seen a lot of movement, partly because of the Nils Lundqvist injury, but Lindell and Heiskanen have been the Stars' top pairing, and he's been playing a ton of minutes. Now, granted, a good chunk of that is shorthanded, and not of course power play. Although every now and then, when the injuries pile up, he ends up in the bumper position somewhere. But this group of 6, for better for worse, have been very consistent so far this year.
Yeah, I'd like to see Bichel and Petrovic get a little more time on the penalty kill if they could, but I think they're going to have to work through that. I do think that there are games this year earlier. I've said it a couple of times here. Esa looked slow to me, but again, I think playing with Miro all the time, Miro plays 24, 25 minutes a night. He's going to get it against the top lines all the time. So, but again, it's hard to say that he's slow, but I think he conserves his energy well enough to, come out and do all the right things all the time.
Take a look at the forward group. Gully said no changes expected. We'll see if that means changing the lineup at all as far as who plays within the lines. While Sam is saying this is the way they're lining up because they just tweeted it out from the warm-up. Oscar Beck, Justin Ritzkovian, Maverick Bork, 2 of those 3 got goals last night. Foxa, Blackwell, Ernie. Ernie got a big goal. Blackwell had the assist. When you're getting contributions from the bottom 6 like that, it's going to really help you win games.
It's not. I mean, it's nice for Gully, and again, it's nice for the other guys too. But I think when coaches see that the bottom 2 lines are going, and now you're getting back to kind of Pete DeBoer kind of times where you can continue to roll guys like that. And at home, you get the matchups that you want, but you don't want to have to worry about matchups with your 3rd or 4th line getting out against one of the team's top lines. I think he's got the confidence now, especially in that line. But that line that you're talking about, a little bit tougher to play against. I mean, they're on the hunt. I mean, they get pucks in deep and they got speed, and and Ritzkovia, and little Ritzy Ritz has been under the skin of a few guys. So
and he scored a
nice to
second
see.
goal, looking good. Let's take a look at the goalie matchup tonight between Casey DeSmith for the Stars and Matt Murray, the 31-year-old. These are their career numbers against the opponent. So that's Casey's numbers against Seattle, 2 starts under the Dallas Stars, 2 with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and Matt Murray, his career predominantly with Pittsburgh, but he's also now on his 4th team, 10th season for the 31-year-old Murray. Pittsburgh, of course, the big one to start, won a Stanley Cup there, then Ottawa, Toronto, and now Seattle, who's missing Joey Decord, not on the trip. Philip Grubauer played last night. They got the dramatic win, but Luds, 2 former teammates. They played together for several seasons in Pittsburgh. We'll go toe-to-toe.
I wish I'd have seen these numbers about an hour ago.
Because
my kid called me and I told him to go over.
Oh,
so
no.
with these numbers here, it might not be happening. So I don't know, CJ, if you're listening, go the other way.
Well, tell me a little bit about what you think of Seattle, because last night they played in St. Louis. They were down 2-0 after the first period. They rallied in the second, scored twice and tied it. Then down 3-2 after an early third period goal. They scored with 1.5 seconds left in regulation. Chandler Stevenson sent it to overtime and then got the game winner from Shane Wright in overtime. But the tying goal was controversial because of a non-goaltender interference decision, as Jordan Eberle was at the front of the net on the shot by Stevenson that beat Joel Hofer, the Blues goalie. And I just showed you that video, Luds, right before we went on the air. And there is some discussion. It was reviewed. The referees on the ice and the Situation Room deemed it was not goalie interference. St. Louis Blues certainly disagree.
I do too. I'm confused. I don't know the rule apparently, but if you have a chance to look at it, it's supposed. What I understand, if you're in the blue paint and you make contact with the goaltender or any other part of his equipment, it's not a goal. Here he clearly and explain it. I mean, they said it didn't have anything to do with him making the save.
That's what the
disagree.
explanation was from the referees and the Situation Room. But as we watched this, Luds, and we saw it on super slow-mo from the St. Louis TV broadcast on FanDuel Sports, there's contact with the left skate of Eberle, which is in the top of the crease, so in the blue paint, against the stick of Hofer, hitting it this direction as the shot goes this way. So hitting the stick to the right, puck going to the left. Now, did he try to make a save with his stick? No, it was a shot that was upstairs. He's waving with the glove.
Well, he couldn't do anything with his stick.
But there is a distraction with the stick when you get bumped. Now, there is a gray area in some instances. I'm not sure I think it is in this case, meaning I don't think it's a gray area, where a goalie may put his stick out of the crease, and I think that's fair game because he's making a react. But if he's trying to make a save and he gets bumped into in the crease, I thought that was the sort of standard that we're sticking with.
I do not understand the rule. I think there's a lot of people that don't understand the rule. And I will say, there's been times even as a defenseman, and you want to get your stick in a shot lane or something like that, and it hits somebody else in the pad, it catches his stick or his skate. It is distracting, and it takes away from you defending. So as a goaltender, I could see the complaint, but again, poor St. Louis. Well, not really poor St. Louis, but that the last couple of seconds of big games, they seem to make a difference for those guys.
Let's take a quick look at the Seattle
lineup. Can you show
lineup.
them what Monty did to him after the next day?
Yeah, I didn't get the video
the bag skate, folks.
They had a practice on a Sunday, which is not very common. When you play a game on a Saturday night, you typically don't have a practice on a Sunday.
They might have had 2 days off.
I would have to look at their schedule.
I'm guessing they're not playing,
But I saw clips from the St. Louis media that there was a pretty heavy conditioning portion to finish practice.
Never done that.
So here's the Seattle forward group. You can see Marchment playing with Shane Wright and Ryan Winterton on the third line. They are missing Jared McCann, who's injured, along with Freddie Gaudreau, the former Minnesota Wild forward, and defenseman Riker Evans is out of the lineup. Still, obviously, of course, with Matty Beniers and Jaden Schwartz up top, Capo Caco coming from the New York Rangers, and Stevenson, the longtime, Vegas Golden Knight. Look at the defense here, and other than Evans, this has been a pretty steady group of players.
Yeah, and I think from the past, we know Jamie Oleksiak, big rig. Montour likes to get up and down the ice, big signing. Man, he got some money when he left Florida. I think he was a free agent. But yeah, I've always liked
play
Dunn.
The puck.
Always liked Dunn. I think he's a good shutdown defenseman. I'm sure that they're going to try to get him out there against Rantanen or Wyatt, depending on how Gully has his lines assembled.
One more thing. I was going to ask you about Lane Lambert. We don't have a lot of time, so we're going to have to table that for later. Special teams, I think, is going to play a big factor tonight. The Stars have the third best power play in the league. They're number 1 at home, operating at 43.3% at American Airlines Center. The Kraken are ranked 31st in the league in the penalty kill, 69.4%. And Dallas has scored power play goals in 4 straight games at a rate of 41.2%.
This brings me back to Mason Marchment. Does he tailor his game tonight to make sure that he doesn't put his old friends on the power play?
And what will that do in front of the Dallas crowd if Marchment's in the box and the power play was
exactly? And what will that do to Marchment too?
Yeah.
I mean, does it alter his game a little bit? His game is to get under your skin, and maybe he's got to pull back a little bit, and maybe he does because he doesn't want to do it in this building.
All right, we have Super Chat to close things out. Burned Oils with a Darian Hatcher and Year After the Cup. They should play a tribute of Luds every year.
Yeah, they do. It's at the bar up there.
There you go.
Level.
We will be here right after the game for the post-game show, myself and Luds, along with, of course, Sam reporting from the AAC. For our producer, Ryan Vaughters, thank you for joining us, and we will see you right afterwards. Stars and Kraken about to start, so let's go.
I believe that they are going to crush these guys tonight.
We all silly like the mayor.